Ciao! Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome to this video. I thought I'd do a video of something that's near and dear to my heart. A couple things that are near and dear to my heart, which is Mediterranean diet / Mediterranean lifestyle and Mediterranean cooking. Absolutely love that philosophy, and I also love the philosophy of going to the market, finding what's in season and combining that with what's already in my fridge and using up everything in my fridge, as well as seeing what's seasonal and being inspired by that to create dishes. As you saw this morning, I went to my Saturday farmers market here in Scottsdale, and I picked up quite a few things. Like my nonna taught me, I'm going to make some delicious recipes with what I have in the fridge / what I got from the market, seasonal and all that stuff. I found some beautiful leeks, which is a very mild onion, really delicious in the springtime. It is a springtime vegetable. And I also have beautiful peas and some asparagus in the fridge. So that means I'm going to make a bright lemony springtime golden risotto, a very primavera inspired risotto. And then tomorrow we're gonna use up all the other things I got from the market. So I have this beautiful massive bag of gorgeous basil. I'm gonna keep my face in this all day long. And I'm gonna use it a couple ways. I mean, pesto, classic. You get a nut, you get a cheese, get some basil, olive oil, good to go. With this basil, tomorrow we are making some sourdough focaccia. And so I think I'm going to chop up this basil and toss it with a bunch of pomodoro, so tomatoes, and a bunch of oregano, olive oil. So we have some really juicy marinated tomatoes, and I'm also going to add some of this basil into some marinated zucchini. And then we're gonna have the focaccia go with it, and some mozzarella that I picked up from Costco, bufala mozzarella, so delicious. Some prosciutto. And we're gonna make it kind of like the focaccia kind of pizza bianca style, where you can cut the middle and make it kind of a sandwich. I talked about this in my other vlog, and I'm Roman, so my favorite bread in the whole wide world is pizza bianca. And then for lunch tomorrow, I think I'm going to make a huge cruciferous salad. So I'm gonna roast off this beautiful broccolini that I got. And then I also got romanesco, which is a beautiful, gorgeous vegetable. So I'm going to roast the broccolini, and roast the cavolfiore, and AKA the purple cauliflower. I got the beautiful purple one because I was wearing purple. So I was like, you know what, matchy, pastel, let's do it. So I'm gonna roast all 3 vegetables in a very sweet kind of sumac citrusy marinade. I'm gonna roast them off, and then we're gonna top it off with a tahini dressing, some dates, some nuts, some halloumi cheese. I'm gonna get into the kitchen and start prepping. So let's head into the kitchen. First things first, before we get started, I'm going to prep all the ingredients so it's super seamless and easy to make this risotto. So I'm starting off with the 2 hard cheeses that will be going in the risotto, which is Parmigiano and Pecorino Romano. You definitely want to have freshly grated cheese because it has so much more flavor to it, and it tastes so much more fresh in the end than pre-grated cheese. You could skimp and buy pre-grated cheese, but you ask yourself, why does food taste so amazing in restaurants? Why does food taste so amazing in Italy and other countries? It's because they take the extra step of actually freshly grating their cheese, and it's something like, yes, you can't dramatically tell the difference, but it just levels it up a teeny tiny bit, and you can snack on a little chunk of it while you get to grate it. So to make freshly grated cheese, you just need to chunk it all up. You want to make sure not to include the rind. All right, I'm just gonna throw a lid on this and throw it on the blender. And just like that, you have some beautiful grated cheese ready to go. We have the freshly grated about 1/4 cup of parmigiano and pecorino romano. We're gonna put that off to the side. Once everything's prepped, this is gonna be such an easy dish to make. So I have a huge bunch of asparagus here that is going to be one of the 3 vegetables that we throw in. But I'm gonna put those off to the side right now while I work on the leeks. Leeks are a tricky vegetable because they actually grow in the dirt, really deep into the dirt, and they're sandy and dirty. What you gotta do is you're gonna just chop off the ends just like that. Oops, I forgot my trash bowl. Another hack to making life so easy while you're cooking is throwing everything into a bowl to just pitch it. So that way you're not cutting and throwing and then going to the trash can and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna trim off the tops and the bottoms, just cut them in half because we'll be finely dicing these. Gonna go ahead and prep them and just thinly slice them. So I cut them in half and then just going in and thinly slicing them, kind of like a 1/2 inch-ish thick. And I'm gonna throw these leeks into a bowl and cover them completely in water. Give the leeks a pretty dang good massage, just like this. Give them all, it's okay if they're all split up. You want just single rings to be sauteing in the pan. And then I grabbed a super small colander and I'm just going to dump them out and rinse them with water until I can see no dirt. So I have the leeks in the sink right now. I elevated them so the water is draining. You could also just take paper towel and lay them out on some paper towels. Just want to get them as dry as you possibly can. Now we're gonna move into actually making the risotto. So I have the arborio rice here. So for the risotto, you're gonna need a kind of saucepan, a deep saucepan, about 2 tablespoons of butter. I have some beautiful Irish butter here. Any stock, but I am using chicken broth today, specifically bone broth, because I love the extra protein that it adds and just gut health and all of that stuff, the nutrients that come from bone broth. And then you need some vino bianco. I have this super cute vino that I cracked open last night. This I got from a cool little grocery store here. It has this adorable little guy and girl on a Vespa. The bottle is so cute. I couldn't resist this Pinot Grigio. Actually, my mom got it for me, which was so sweet when she came to visit. I had it last night. It's so delicious. Imported from Italy. Absolutely love it. So you only need about 1/4 cup of this. So now we're at the stage that the rice is toasting with the leeks for a few minutes until it gets a little bit golden brown on some of the edges. And I think it's time I pour myself a glass of wine. You know, that's the fun part of making risotto. You literally have no excuse not to drink some wine while you cook. So, chin. The rice was toasted. We added some white wine, waited for that to dissolve, added in some bone broth, or whatever broth or stock that you're using, and I added in about 1/4 cup to 1/3 cup, and it's simmering on super low heat, and you have to check it about every 5 to 7 minutes, and make sure that once it's like 90% absorbed, just add in a little bit more. That's how simple risotto is. It takes about 30 minutes. So I have some asparagus here, and when I think about adding this into the risotto, I want to make it about the size of the leek, so about an inch to an inch and a half long. You want to be able to get it on a fork. So I'm just going to chop these pretty small. And then of course, you don't want the stems. So I have my asparagus ready to go. We are gonna add the asparagus in around, I'd say maybe the second to last ladle of broth. So that way it's the asparagus simmer with the broth and they get nice and tender in the risotto. So we have the asparagus ready to be added. And finally, the third vegetable we'll be using is some English peas. I have fresh, beautiful English peas here. You could also use frozen, about a cup of them, and these will be added in very last minute. Once they hit the heat, it takes like 2 minutes for them to cook. It's such a simple, delicious, fiber-filled, sweet vegetable to add in with the asparagus and the leeks. Everything will complement it so well. So all you need is just about a cup of fresh English peas. The next ingredient is going to be one of my favorite ingredients. You definitely want some lemon. So you can use lemon in the risotto, but I'm also going to be using lemon to sear the scallops in a lemon butter sauce. Something super, super simple, just those two ingredients really. So I'm just going to zest the whole entire lemon. It will add some brightness. It'll cut through the rich creaminess of the risotto with the butter and the parmigiano and the pecorino with all those cheeses. So you just need a little bit of acid in almost all foods. Food requires acid. And then I'm going to add in the lemon juice. You're only gonna need about a half a lemon for the risotto. Because I'm making lemon butter for the scallops, I'm gonna use the other half of the lemon for that. Now that I have the lemon zest and juice ready, that means it's time to check on the risotto. And now it is time for the herbs. So I'm using mint because mint is so good with peas and asparagus and all of those vegetables. We're gonna need about, I say, a very small handful, maybe 2 tablespoons worth of just chopped fresh mint. So I'll just do maybe 1 big sprig of mint. And another reason why I really love the addition of mint and just both herbs is because after something's been cooking for a very long time, you need to bring it back to life once it's finished cooking. So that lemon juice and lemon zest, these fresh herbs will bring the brightness back up because those flavors have been cooking for so long. So you want something fresh on top. A really fine chop here. And then I'm gonna do the same with a big handful of flat leaf parsley. Okay, so we are on the last like 5 minutes of this whole entire dish. So the risotto is pretty much ready. I have to add in the peas, the lemon zest, the lemon juice, a little dab of butter, and the herbs. While I'm adding those in, I'm gonna sear off the scallops. Scallops take like 4 minutes on each side. I love a good crusty scallop and then soft and buttery on the inside. So I'm patting these scallops super dry. Next, I'm going to heat up the skillet at medium heat, throw in the butter. It is officially time for my favorite part. It is time for the taste test. Honestly, who am I kidding? I've been tasting it this whole entire time. So I'm gonna get a bite of some delicious asparagus, leek, lemon zest, Parmesan pea with my wine ready to go. It's so luxurious, but then you get the crunch of the asparagus and the pea, and then you get bright lemony yellow, buttery, cheesy goodness. You get a little bit of that chewy satisfaction from the rice. You guys have to try this dish this spring. I'm gonna eat this. Enjoy, and I'll catch you back here for our next recipe. Ciao, it's the next day and I just made the most delicious, colorful, flavorful Mediterranean roasted goodness of a salad with so many different textures and flavors and all kinds of good stuff. So let's hop in to making this salad. The first step in making this delicious cruciferous Mediterranean salad is roasting off the vegetables. So we have Romanesco, cauliflower, and broccoli as our 3 cruciferous vegetables. And I like to take the cauliflower and the Romanesco and make the little tiny heads because I just think they're so pretty to keep intact like that. So you kind of just cut along the lines of both the Romanesco and cauliflower. Just it guides you to make those chunks and whatnot. And I kind of just always make sure to make them the size of a fork, because when I eat a salad, I don't want massive pieces of food that I can't fit on a fork. Like, salads are supposed to be easy and enjoyable to eat, so I like to cut up all my vegetables and just about everything in the salad and make sure that it's all easy to fit on a fork. So the broccolini, I am just cutting it in 4s and making it, again, the same size as both the cauliflower and the Romanesco. Throwing it on a large baking tray. You want a lot of room to spread it out evenly so everything can get roasted and golden brown and crusty. Drenching it in my favorite liquid gold, lots and lots of extra virgin olive oil. And then I'm choosing a za'atar spice blend here. You can use just salt and pepper, you could use oregano, you can use whatever, your favorite kind of spice blend is. You just want to add a little bit of flavor on these delicious vegetables. Now we're switching into the dressing. The base of the dressing is, again, my liquid gold extra virgin olive oil, some acid from this red wine vinegar, and a little bit of tang, some honey to balance out all the flavors and give it some sweetness, a little bit of sumac. This is a very lemony, delicious spice, one of my favorites, and some lemon. And lastly, some garlic, because I think it just adds more depth of flavor and just so much goodness to this dressing. And also, of course, some oregano. It's one of my most favorite dried herbs. This is actually from my nonna's garden. And some tahini. This will make it super creamy and rich, and it will complement all of the roasted vegetables and greens in the salad. So super simple, just shake it all up and you have a beautiful sumac tahini dressing ready to go. And once you finish the dressing, the vegetables are done and roasted and ready to be plated. This salad comes together so quickly. Roasted vegetables are probably the best way to have vegetables, so delicious. So I'm doing a base of arugula. You could use any one of your favorite dark leafy greens, topping it off with the roasted vegetables, big fresh herbs, some dates for some chewy sweetness, and some salty crispy halloumi, and a little crunch of some salted pistachios that are roasted as well, and that drizzle of the dressing. And this salad is packed full of so much goodness. You have to try this. You can use whatever vegetable you want. Really, you can make it any way you want, but I promise you these flavors are amazing. Lastly, to use up that beautiful basil, we are going to make some marinated zucchini, marinated tomatoes, and a delicious prosciutto and melon salad. So to start off with marinated zucchini, you just want to saute them till they're golden brown on each side in a saute pan, and then add some extra olive oil, some red wine vinegar, big crack of salt, some fresh pressed garlic, and lots of basil and mint. Those 2 herbs complement the zucchini so well, and you want to let it marinate for anywhere from at least 30 minutes to an hour, and then you have these juicy, flavorful vegetables to top on salads, to top on breads, grain bowls, just about anything they go with. And then moving on to the tomatoes, it's super similar, except that you want to make sure to deseed the center of the tomatoes, and then they get some oregano, some salt, pepper, olive oil, and just some fresh basil here too. They don't need any acid because tomatoes are already pretty acidic on their own. And again, just let them sit for like 30 minutes to an hour and they develop some delicious flavor. Lastly, one of my most favorite combos ever is a little tiny bed of arugula for some bitter, fresh goodness, some sweet, juicy melon, and some chewy, salty prosciutto. Such a classic, with some fresh mozzarella torn into chunks and a fresh crack of pepper. Do you guys think I like fresh? Because apparently I like fresh. And lastly, lots and lots of basil and mint to complement everything on this dish. Seriously, this is my favorite way to use herbs, is just in fresh, flavorful veggie dishes. 3 days since I last finished this recipe. I'm actually finishing off the marinated zucchini right now. I'm gonna take a bite, but I also wanna talk. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found some delicious, fun recipes to make this spring, even this summer. They're super delicious, super easy, and I hope you create a very zestful day. Ciao.